The bikes used in the Tour de France are some of the best and most beautiful road bikes in existence. And aside from the hefty price tags, they all share quite a lot in common. So let me explain why they look like they do, and more importantly, how you can make your road bike look like a Tour de France bike too. First and foremost, a pro bike always starts the day spotlessly clean. And I mean spotless. In fact, one of the things that impressed me the most when I was a kid going to watch a bike race was just how shiny the top riders were. And one of the best things about becoming a pro was I always got to ride a spotlessly clean bike. So give yourself a head start in this whole process by making sure your bike is scrupulously clean. And the best tip I can give you in order to get there is to invest in some decent degreaser. And then, although pro mechanics don't actually use chain cleaning devices, I've started to recently, and it has been revolutionary. So that is another tip as well. One of the biggest differences between a bike raced in the Tour de France and one ridden on a Sunday morning is the amount of accessories on it. Of course, in the Tour, you're not going to need a lock. You won't need lights. You've got two team cars to support you, so you won't ever need to fix a flat tyre or repair a chain, meaning that you won't need a toolkit, a spare tube or a pump either. Getting rid of all of these is going to make your bike look a little cleaner and more elegant. You're also going to make your bike lighter, and poorly chosen or poorly fitted accessories have a habit of rattling. So if you get rid of them, you're going to make your bike quieter and feel smoother as well. Now, admittedly, this may leave you stranded at the side of the road with a flat tyre, which is a bit of a problem. But this video is about looking pro and not necessarily being pro. But you could always keep the look actually and just stick a spare tube and a pump in your back jersey pocket for short rides. Pros like to be aerodynamic. In the modern peloton actually, pros need to be aerodynamic, so their position on the bike is always low and stretched out. So that's why on pro bikes, you'll almost always find a really long stem set as low as it can go. And for those riders, it makes sense. The hours that they've spent on the bike has given them the flexibility to cope with these extreme positions. And because they don't have to spend time in an office or spend all day working on their feet, they are saved those added biomechanical complications. Now, the fact that they have to put up with compromised and slow bike handling as a result of a long and low stem is due to the fact that by and large these bikes are designed for you and I and not pro cyclists, and particularly the carbon bikes that they ride come out of expensive molds, so they don't have the ability to actually get custom bikes any longer. So that's why a pro cyclist just has to get comfortable with what they're given. And in extreme cases, a rider like Steve Cummings from Dimension Data actually has to use a 170mm long stem, making his poor Cervelo S5 feel more like a bus than a bike. Now, the slight irony to slamming your stem in order to look pro is that doing so is actually very unpro, because a tour rider needs to be comfortable. If they're not, their race is likely to end in disaster. So really, the first rule of being pro is to use equipment that allows you to get the job done. And if that means being comfortable with a short and a high stem, then so be it. Although for now, we'll just go with a nice long and low 130mm stem, because it looks good. No pro bike is complete without a set of deep section carbon wheels. Let's face it, they look absolutely amazing. In fact, I don't think there is a single thing that makes quite such a difference to the look of your bike than a set of these. Expensive? Yes. Pro? Also, yes. But why do they look pro? Why do pros use them at all? Well, it all comes back down to aerodynamics. A deep section wheel will minimize the drag that you cause through the air as you're moving forwards, meaning that you will save significant power at higher speeds, and that even at slower speeds, actually, to put it another way, you will save significant time. They're also lighter, which means that they'll climb faster and feel more responsive, which is particularly good when you are struggling to hold a wheel 190 k's into a stage, 14 stages into the race, when you are knackered and just desperate to survive. And while we're on the subject of wheels, you need to make sure that you have 25C wide tyres. Those are the pro's choice. They're slightly more comfortable and they also roll faster. And you also need an 11-28 cassette at the back. That too is almost ubiquitous in the pro peloton now. Right, so we are looking pretty pro, but what are the finishing touches? Well, handlebar tape needs to be in exceedingly good condition. And if you're using white bar tape, it needs to be new almost every ride. So it's probably a good idea then just to use black. Now, rips or tears are unacceptable, and when you are replacing it, spend time to make sure you get a really, really perfect, crisp finish. And then what else? Well, we are going to have to take our obligatory pro bike Instagram photo. When we're doing it, there are certain rules. Firstly, you need to put your bike in the biggest gear you have. And then your cranks need to be horizontal in the 3 o'clock position. The valves on your wheels need to be in the 6 o'clock position. And then you can't lean it against the wall, it has to be propped up on its own. So either use a stand or a twig. Oh yeah, a pro twig, but a twig nonetheless. So there we go, that is how to make your bike look like a Tour de France bike. Cleaning it and aerodynamic wheels are going to make you go faster, undoubtedly. But much of it will have no performance benefit at all. It is just about looking good. And while that may seem like a bit of a waste of money to you and I, for pro teams it is essential because a significant part of their budget will come from bike manufacturers who want their equipment to look as good as possible. So that is why. It's pro to look pro. Now, back to the importance of cleaning. If you want to see a video on how to get your chain looking absolutely spotless, then if you click just up there, you get through to a video about it. Or to see pro mechanics actually cleaning bikes, how they do it, click just down there. Otherwise, before leaving this video, do make sure you subscribe to GCN. To do that, just click on the globe.